Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm not.
Will Blackmon is joining us on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. Thank you for coming in.
She didn't even let her finish. I need my whole intro. Hey, what is this stuff?
Hey, I'm a
Fonzie over here. Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm a, what's a Spliff Star? I'm Spliff Star. She a Busta Rhymes.
Wow. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's my hype man.
Spliff Star.
Yes.
That's good.
What
Trying to get the Puff
reference.
Daddy level of hype man.
Spliff is good.
Yes.
Spliff burn calories.
So we're going to talk a lot of NFL with you, but also you are a big wine guy.
Yeah, the
You
NFL
are the
wine.
wine, the NFL wine guy. Yeah, it's
The
on
wine
Twitter
guy.
and Instagram.
NFL wine guy.
Is it the NFL or is it NFL wine guy?
It's
He is
NFL Wine Guy on Twitter, on Instagram, and NFLWineGuy.com. It's real, baby.
You have a website too. How
Yeah.
Domain though. Okay, let me stop hating. You got
I got the
domain.
domain.
You have to do the full
Yeah.
branding circuit. Do you have an email?
Yeah,
Okay,
Oh,
that's how we know it's
that
all
was a
complete.
question mark. Yes, if I've ever heard one.
I got
Well-
a business card.
Oh, okay.
Settle down, everybody.
Yeah.
Settle down.
Well, my fiance and I went to Napa this weekend.
Yes.
Oh, this weekend?
Yes. So I've been one time before. It was his first trip. He went because of me
How do you
because
like it?
he wasn't sure about it.
You had the hookup?
He had the hookup. Shout out to Staglin Wines.
Oh,
Do you
very
know Staglin
cool.
Wines?
I know Stag Leap.
Yeah, Stag Leap is very good also. Well, they're UCLA family, and
Oh, there you go.
they were
Yeah,
amazing, and their wines
Done
are
deal.
excellent. We had an amazing time. I probably had a better time than Earl because
How did Earl like it?
He loved it. He loved it. Napa is like a wine education.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's a cultural.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Have you ever been wine tasting?
I went to Malibu Wines once, and I was very afraid. It was like Get Out. It was like that party of Get Out.
There is a touch of Get Out to the whole
Yes,
situation.
yes.
I will definitely admit that.
At Malibu Wines?
Yes.
It just
Specifically.
Yeah, well, I haven't been to Malibu Wines, but I imagine it because just in general, like even being in Napa, it's a bit isolated from the culture.
Right.
It's its own
On
culture.
purpose.
On purpose. Yeah, it's its own culture. It's its own world.
True. Okay.
is
These are
its own
good
world.
answers out of the wine guy,
Which is
though.
kind of why it has a touch of Get Out, but it's a
Yes.
wonderful place. And
Yes.
I love it. I love it. But how did you get into wine? Because obviously I've been talking about wine for like the past
Right.
5 days. But how did you get into
I
wine?
got into it. It was acquired. I always consumed it and enjoyed it. And then when I got drafted to Green Bay in 2006.
Shout out.
In the same year, Charles Woodson signed his deal.
Okay.
And everyone knows Charles Woodson has his own winery
Right.
on Route 29 in Napa. And he would always, the night before games, he would always take the defensive backs out. And we would go to a nice restaurant. He would order wine or have his own. And it just became just our thing. So, or we would just go out. He and I would go out during the day, lunch, have a glass of wine, dinner, have a glass of wine. We always just had a glass of wine. I just enjoyed it. So I was curious to know more. I said, I really want to understand it. And this guy, he's a director, now a good friend of mine. His name is Jason Wise, and he directed that documentary called Somm that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Directed that, and I was like, man, there's way more to it. So one of the master sommeliers, he's in Costa Mesa in Orange County where I am, and he has a school there, and they have classes. So I went and got a level 2 WSET certification. I went, took the whole course and got certified, and I came here so bougie. I wore my pin. Oh Lord, did I wear it? Yes.
He had it playing. Pre-produced it.
No, I thought
right under our noses.
I can't
perfect
listen.
plug.
I got everything. I got my pen in case they want my ring. I got my ring. I got everything here just in case. My wife yells at me. You got to bring everything. You never know.
You never know
That's
how to make
smart,
a sale.
So I learned I learned that with wine, it's the more you know about the region, it's all about geography.
True. Yes.
In terms of like what characteristics to look
Right.
for, how certain things taste, why does it taste like that. Like a Pinot Noir from France is completely different than a Pinot Noir from California. Like
Right.
I learned all that stuff. So I just continue to learn more and more and more. I'm studying under Guild Somms right now to maybe be an advanced Somm, and so it's I
Are
enjoy.
these wine words? The song
Yeah,
stuff?
sommelier.
It's
so when you go
short.
to a fancy restaurant and like you want to
It's like being a
order
sensei?
about, it's a wine sensei
Okay.
in some senses.
or
not-
sommelier.
Or or that.
Oh, okay.
It's-
All right, we'll
look,
do
I
that.
mean, it sounds very bougie, but it's actually like once you get into it. So when you go to a
Yeah.
restaurant, you want to order a bottle of wine. They bring you the big like Bible of wines.
Yeah.
And you have no
Yeah.
idea where to go. That's the person that comes
That's who
over
come,
and
yeah.
says, "What are you having for dinner?"
Yeah.
And like I think that they recommend a bottle of wine for you.
Yeah.
And
So
they
they
come
got
out
sommeliers
and
that work
they
at these
decanter it.
They
and
work
like,
at
yeah.
restaurants.
At the restaurant,
They work.
that's the
They
one.
for sure. They work at restaurants. That's where they are.
Yes.
Do you want to be a sommelier for a specific restaurant?
Not for a restaurant, just for my own my own culture, whatever. I just want to know more.
All right.
It's not like it's a. I mean, whiskey has a kind of a bit of a culture like
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
too.
for sure. I'm
So-
from Kentucky. I understand.
So
Yeah.
I took it like beyond extreme measures where I'm probably close to being passionate about that as I am about like football. And football, I'm diehard.
Ooh,
Like football, that's all.
okay.
Football's all I wanted to do. So the wine thing, I became very serious. It's not just a
that's
hobby. It's not a hobby.
NFL wine guy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So we were talking about like how the like vines are grown and like the dirt and like how you harvest it, like whether it's organic or not. And I feel like just our whole culture in general, and like Tom Brady kind of leads the way with this, being that he's 42 years old and still dominating the NFL. And we were talking to Drew Brees earlier on the Herd, like everyone is more body conscious in general, just in the world, but specifically in sports. And so if you are like, obviously guys go out and party, like we all party.
Right.
Is wine something you would recommend to drink? And it's kind of weird, like you're not gonna like drink wine in the club, but it low key might be better than drinking like tequila or vodka or whatever else that you're gonna be out. Like if you need to play that weekend, like it's better for your body.
Funny story.
Ooh, there you go.
Story time. So, I told this before. In 2008, we traveled to Minnesota. So I'm still in Green Bay, and Charles takes us out the night before to the restaurant is called Seven in Minneapolis.
The night before a game.
Night before a game.
Okay.
It was rich. We always went out and go to dinner. So we're at the restaurant and we have great food and order wine. And he's ordering more wine. And he's ordering more wine. And then we order more wine. And then we hear music. We're like, what's that upstairs? They're like, oh, it's like a little nightclub. Not kind of like a nightclub, like a lounge area. So we had time before a meeting, so we went upstairs. We had more wine. So then the nights. Oh, I remember too. We saw Joe Buck and Troy Aikman because they were calling the game.
Yeah.
We saw them, and then we get back to the hotel just in time for meetings. And I just remember I was like, "Damn, dude, like I don't feel good right now." And I was looking. It was me, Charles Woodson, Tramon Williams, and Nick Collins was the four of us, and we all went out. And I just remember all of us were just like, "Damn, dude, maybe we kind of like overdid it." So then we get the next day to get ready for the game. I just remember looking in the mirror. My eyes were glossy. I was like, damn, I really kind of got smashed the night before the game.
Right.
Like, damn. So I'm like, well, let me try to hydrate and get going. Adrenaline kicks in and, we can play under any circumstance. I had my best game with like 2 hours of sleep. Anyhow, so the game gets going. Right away, Charles Woodson gets a pick. Boom. And I'm like, well, that's Charles. Like, of course he's going to get a pick.
Right.
And then Tramon got an interception. Boom. He got a pick. And then I'm like, well, Tramon's doing well right now. He's like on the rise. And then Nick Collins gets a pick 6. And I'm
I
like,
remember this game.
I'm like, damn.
You do, yeah.
I was like, well, I got to do something. So then, boom, I take a punt return to the house for a touchdown.
Yes.
So all 4 of us went off that game. so ever since then, I didn't get destroyed, but I had some wine the night before a
That's
game.
good luck.
Yeah.
Now, question: who was the quarterback you were playing in that game?
That's
Gus
true.
Farrar. They won.
Oh. Okay.
They won, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
We missed
Yeah.
a field goal. Yeah.
So it sounds like a great game, but yeah. So that kind of answers my question. Like, it's not now. Had you drank like that and it was tequila, you may have
That wouldn't have
been in the
happened.
Such going
hospital.
off and the team losing. I had my
Yeah.
one interception against Kent State at Ball State, and we lost the game, and I left the ball there to be like a good morale guy. I should
Yeah.
have
Why
kept that damn ball.
Why did you leave the ball?
Dude,
I should've kept
don't
the
remind me.
damn ball.
So I remember I stripped Edelman, and I usually keep all my footballs, and that one I did not keep. It's a Brady ball.
Yes! And the Edelman ball on top of that.
I'm gonna be real, the ball's a little light.
Tell him. Let's switch to football, but I would say, shouts out to Senor Sangria.
It was a little nerf.
Yeah. When I was in New Jersey and New York working there, I sold Sangria around New Jersey, pulled up, and they are now in Yankee Stadium. So, Senor Sangria, shouts out to Rick from Maplewood, New Jersey. You know what I mean? Go pick it up if you're at the Yankees game.
What was your question?
It was a shout out instead
Oh,
of a
you just
question.
wanted to get that in. Okay.
It was a shout out.
Yeah.
Let's
That's how we
transition
get
to
down here,
the NFL. So basically, the Browns are everywhere right now. Antonio Brown and the Browns are the main stories for the past 2 weeks. And let's start with Baker. So we're big Baker supporters around here. I thought Baker should have started right from the jump. I thought he overcame a really dysfunctional situation with Hugh Jackson.
Massive.
Yeah, so what he's been able to do.
He won a city over after LeBron left.
Yes.
Just let that sit in.
Please.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
All right, go ahead, sorry.
So I don't have a problem with his persona, his personality, his arrogance, if you will. Like, everything that he is, I think is great for the league. I think stars with personality just only elevate the game. Like, everybody doesn't have to be the same. Everybody doesn't have to be Brady. Everybody doesn't have to be Russell Wilson. Like, you can have your own personality, and I think that's great. I do think you get into a little bit of sticky territory when you call out somebody who's not only in the league, but is playing your position.
And not even talking about you.
Not talking about you, and is younger than you. Like, I think there's a lot of elements in play here. Now, so what I'm talking about is there was a GQ article done on Baker, and
GQ's been coming in hot though lately.
Fire.
Yes. A lot of sports content.
Like,
Yeah.
what are they doing? What are they? Tequila on set? What's up?
I don't know.
Gosh.
I feel that.
Yeah, they're bringing it though. And in the article, he mentions that he can't believe that the Giants took Daniel Jones. It just feels like cheap. Now, he's come out and said he didn't mean it like that, and he respects Daniel Jones.
Because he
Daniel
didn't mean
Jones
it like
says,
that.
Thank you.
Maybe he didn't.
He definitely didn't.
Of course not. He's throwing shots at the Giants.
No,
What?
he's not throwing a shot to anyone. He's basically spoke his mind of what everyone else thought too.
True.
They probably asked him, "What did you think?" He said, "I was like, man, I can't believe they took him at number 6."
He wasn't asked it though. He just kind of volunteered.
He wasn't asked it?
Yeah, like he claims they were talking about like quarterback evaluation and he threw it out there. But here's my point to Baker and this whole thing. And I know I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth with this, but I do think there's a balance that you have to walk with branding. Like, you got to understand, if you're just going to speak your mind and not be cookie cutter and be out there the way that Baker claims he wants to be, sometimes you're going to be criticized for what you say. Like, don't back off of it now.
Because that's why I think he backed off, because it didn't come out like that.
Right. He backed off because it was misunderstood.
He didn't mean for it to be like, this kid, like, he has no reason to say anything about Daniel Jones. He just honestly said what everyone thought, except me. I didn't think it was a bad pick.
Okay.
I didn't.
He's putting his name on that.
I'm just saying.
That's my thing, and that's what I didn't like about Colin's rant today, is that we can't criticize someone for being consistently authentic.
But look who he's criticizing. That's his boy.
I mean,
Sure,
no,
but
I think you can, because this is the point. I'm a big Baker supporter. I don't have a problem with anything he does. I don't love him chugging a beer during training camp. If it was any other time of the year, I'm cool with it. I just don't think that
on camera. Or
it didn't bother me. Like, it doesn't trigger. Those things don't trigger me.
You
I
need
see why.
to drink during training camp. It is stressful.
Amen. So it's just like
I'm sure
drinking
it is,
on
but-
camera is the bad thing. What? We
Yes,
can't have a beer.
Of course.
Raiders got training camp in
You
Napa.
can have a beer. Yeah, they do. I'm just saying there's optics to everything.
Right.
Like, you can be a rebel and be aware that all of this whole machine is still operating and is gonna, like, don't be mad about the machine covering you, but then when the machine says something negative, you're mad too. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
That's not how it works. So you can't always just be mad. Like, they did an article, a very extensive article about you. How people receive what you said is because you said it. Now, maybe you felt like it was taken out of context. That's part of your reputation, that you say what you feel, right? So did we really take it out of context? Or
Yeah, if he says you did.
So are you authentic or are you not authentic?
It's because we took it out of context because of how he's been.
Right.
To your point.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why it's hard for people to give him the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. Where in this case, he probably definitely was. I believe 100% he was taken out of context because of his behavior and how he is and how people see him as really brash, upfront,
right,
in your face. They're like, okay, he definitely took a shot.
And
at
he's
him.
called other people out. He's called out
right.
Hugh Jackson.
The Duke Johnson
He's called out
one.
Duke Johnson.
But even that, I didn't feel as calling it out as much as him being an everyman and a leader at the same time. He has a very hard job to do and a very hard line to tote of being someone who can hang out with the DBs, the offensive lineman, the quarterback, and be in the quarterback room, and then also being asked, and he's a part of the culture now. So, like, I didn't even take that Duke Johnson as venom. He's like, if you don't want to be on this team, you need to get off this team.
But that's what I'm saying. But you can't say that right then and there. You especially in this league, like, it's hard. We already have issues with our collective bargaining agreement, so it's like, he got to handle what he has to have. We're going to continue to build for the future what we're doing with this team. He has to handle his business as opposed to, like, either he's in or out. That's kind of weak, I thought, in that case. And same thing, like, just going after Hugh, and Hugh didn't say anything.
We can't criticize Russell Wilson for not being interested and then criticize Baker for being interesting.
No.
That's my
I'm not
thing.
criticizing him for being interesting. I'm saying that there are lines that you have to be aware of. Like, to me, I feel like him saying anything, like if you're on the record, this is what I'm saying. If you're on the record, this is why it's almost like a lesson. Not that I'm sunning him or anything, but like, this is my business.
Yeah.
I know how this works.
Wow.
Yeah,
But look, like it's a lesson, right? Like
I haven't heard it in a while because I've been out here for so long, and no, they don't get it out here.
That's
What,
true.
son?
That is
Like
true.
sunning them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kick rocks.
This is the lesson. When you're on the record, you're on the record. If you're in the room with a reporter and they're there doing a story on you, you got to be at the height of your senses of what you're saying. And sometimes when you're too authentic, like, it's going to come out that way. But then if that's just who you are, then you got to own it. Like, you can't be like, well, I want you to believe this about me, but then I'm not authentic. I didn't really mean it like that. Like, it's too much of a balance. And this is where he's going to get in trouble because he's a quarterback.
He can get in trouble, and he can do both too, because we have Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have done the same thing. You talk about Brett Favre on the Herd today.
Right.
Somebody who spoke his mind and essentially has a lot of parallels to Baker.
Here's what I love Baker is that at the end of the day, none of this bothers him.
Facts. Beautiful. Yeah,
That's
he's all
what's-
about football. And that's
I
why.
think it does. It's all over his
I don't think it
Instagram
does.
today.
I don't think it could be all over his Instagram. That's fine. Like, he'll say what he wants, but it's not going to bother him when he's playing football.
No. That's
what I meant. That's what I meant.
I think personally,
Okay.
it does.
That's
If
true.
it didn't, he wouldn't have said anything. I don't think it's going to affect him playing football at all. That said, what do you think of the Browns this year? Because they're going to be noisy no matter what, which I love. Please, more content.
On paper,
but
they're fantastic. My only question with that team is the culture. You know, who is legit, like, the leaders? You know, there's a lot of big personalities in there. Who are the legit leaders? And say they face some adversity. What's going to happen when they face adversity? What's going to happen? Say they drop 3 games. You know,
Right, do they fall apart?
Say they drop 3 games in a row. What's going to happen? Are they going to find a way to come together and figure out, or, you know, is Odell going to speak up, or is Jarvis going to speak up, or Baker's going to say something? So I'm curious to see what happens when they face adversity, because if things are rolling well, they're going to do awesome. But what happens when that? Because I mean, the North ain't easy right now.
No, I mean, the Steelers are the Steelers. I think they're going to come back with a renewed sense of culture, because I think, speaking to culture, they had a culture breakdown last year, and while they lost an incredible amount of talent,
they were a way better team than their record showed. The Steelers. To my point, the culture.
Cincinnati's, but you know, the Ravens are going to win some games this year.
Definitely are.
Okay, so you're high on the Ravens. I'm very skeptical of the Ravens
Just
right
this-
now.
Offensively, is that what it
Yes.
is? I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm not.
You want to tell why? Would you care to share?
If you're going to talk about Louisville, then I don't want to hear it. But
I am not a Louisville Cardinals fan. Never was.
well, let me start defensively.
Okay.
I love the fact that the chess move that they made. The Browns signed Odell, and then you just go, I'm gonna get Earl, straight up. You know, they lose Suggs, and they draft that rookie who broke his sack record. You lose Crabtree, you get Boykin from
Notre Dame. Shouts out.
You get Hollywood Brown
Woo!
to replace John Brown,
And the good Antonio Brown.
and you bring in Mark Ingram, and then one of the bright spots I see in this preseason was the running back, Justice Hill. Is that his name?
Yes.
He's going to be awesome. And I think right now I feel like Lamar found himself in terms of, like, just go win games, go play ball. People like, I posted him doing that hurdle on Twitter, and everyone's like, well, he can't throw. I'm like, why do you worry about that?
Well, I worry about that because
He can throw, though.
it's not that I don't think he can throw.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to design their offense around not only allowing him to do that, but developing that. Because I don't look at, when it comes to young players, as like, what do you do in the first year you're in the league? Like, if you're great, awesome. But I don't have those expectations of rookie quarterbacks. I think it takes time to develop. And once you're into, like, your 3rd or 4th year, it's hard to, A, unlearn bad habits, or B, develop new skills. Like, there's not a big range for that. So that's why, like, Josh Rosen, I think, is in a shit situation. Like, he went into a bad situation.
Oh, we're swearing on this thing?
Yeah, you free to.
Yeah.
You free to.
I'm not trying to. I was just making
you
sure I
free to.
wasn't.
Yeah. You can
Damn,
have a
Joy,
couple
Jay
glasses
just-
of wine and just let one slip out.
Just let it go.
He can slip like
We'll
one
let it
too.
ride. Yeah.
He was in a shit situation, and now he's in a shittier situation in Miami. So Like it's gonna be hard for him.
Easy, okay. One of my teammates from college, Brian Flores, took over the team.
I
Okay?
like Brian Flores. I'm a lifelong Dolphins fan, but I
right.
don't like what they're. Fine, let's talk about this. So I don't like what they're doing with their quarterback situation because what they're doing is similar to what the Giants are doing. So
How?
okay, so you have Josh Rosen, right?
Yeah.
And you have Daniel Jones. This is similar to what happened with Baker, right? Like you traded for Josh Rosen. You took Daniel Jones' 6th overall pick. Baker's number 1 pick.
That's a better comparison what the Browns did because the Browns got a quarterback to protect themselves in case. Like they really want Baker, but they got Tyrod. Justin Key's like the security blanket right now for
But here's
everybody.
the thing. Baker's probably kind of outlier too because he's a number 1 overall pick. I just think when it comes to quarterbacks, you see it every single year. There's always a team that has like a quarterback battle. And I think if you have a quarterback battle, like, sorry, you're gonna have a bad season. Like,
You don't have a quarterback,
You
you
don't
have a
have.
quarterback battle.
If you have more than one quarterback, you don't have a quarterback at all.
Yeah.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick is Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, he got a
He's
5-year
career
deal.
backup.
Brian got a 5-year deal to fix it. So
No. And that's all the more reason why I would like to see them go all in on Josh Rosen. Like,
okay.
you're not going anywhere this year. If it's a disaster, great, you get a high draft pick. Then you might really get your guy. I just think you have to say who the guy is. 1, for the locker room. 2, for confidence for young players is huge, especially at the quarterback position. You're not really the guy. You can't really command the room. You can't really command the team. You can't even really command the huddle. You're always trying to prove yourself. And prove yourself for what? It's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to make you just good enough to not get a high draft pick, win a couple of games, be terrible in a couple games, and then he's going to retire in 2 years.
Maybe Rosen is for sure the guy all along, and I've seen a lot of cases where competition gives you your answers.
True.
You know, you really find out. And we talked about earlier before we came on here, my time in Seattle, that's how they operate. It is legit competition. Like, no one walks in there and you're the guy. You know, you look at the Matt Flynn when he signed there, and they drafted Russell. Matt Flynn got paid, and he was like, we're going to play this dude. We're going to play the rook. You know, that's how I see it. So I feel like it's strategy in terms of competition. I understand. I agree with you. Like, just tell us who it is. Just let him go for it. But I think they want him to earn it in his own right. Like, have him earn it, even though he probably already earned it in whatever their plans are in the front office.
Yeah. And then strategically, he will earn it the right way if someone like Ryan Fitzpatrick is pushing him to. Having the right backup can make a whole team.
I think it depends on where you are in the culture. So for Miami, I mean,
they got a lot of work.
Matt Moore was like the most popular guy in the world
Handsome.
for Ryan Tannehill's entire career, right? Like, just couldn't wait to get Matt. Like, people were really saying like Matt Moore should be the starting quarterback of the Dolphins, which is insanity, obviously. Like, no disrespect to Matt Moore.
A lot of disrespect to Matt Moore.
No. Excellent backup quarterback.
You could just say no. You said insanity.
He's not better than Ryan Tannehill. He's not. He's not better than Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill about to take Marcus Mariota's job.
He's not, and listen, I'm in no way a big Ryan Tannehill fan, all right? But he's not better than Ryan Tannehill. And then you have the situation in New York. Now, you said you liked the Daniel Jones pick.
Yeah.
So you and the Giants were the ones that liked
And the
that
Eli
pick.
and the Manning family. The Manning family were big
Yeah,
fans of that
he went
pick.
under the same coaching, the same tutelage.
Why are you agreeing with my joke?
It's not a joke. It's the truth.
It's the truth. But
Getterman was there when they drafted Eli and got all the information from Cutcliffe. Same thing. They got all the information they needed too.
he has done a good job. I mean,
So do you think that Eli Manning should have the job at this point?
He should have the job. Yeah, he'll finish out this year.
Is that good for Daniel Jones or bad for Daniel Jones?
It's good for Daniel Jones.
Because he's going to get to sit behind mediocre Eli
Don't do
Manning,
that. Don't
or
do that.
Why this? Why?
we don't know what he's doing. We don't know what Eli's
straight
at.
face. Look at the straight face.
we don't know
What
what
I don't understand.
What I do?
Did I just say something dramatic that Eli Manning is not a good quarterback
We
right
don't.
now?
Okay, we don't know what he's going to be this next season.
He's going to get better.
He can. He can. Like the. Am I crazy here?
He got MJ's magic stuff from Space Jam?
He could have a version of it. Deer
Secret-
antler spray
secret-
changed
secret
the world.
stuff?
And then he'll get suspended.
Secret stuff?
You know
He'll
what
get
I'm
4
saying?
games if you take.
Yeah. But what do you think about, like, because there's a real thing about any given Sunday and these certain variables that happen in certain inertia.
Yeah, any given Sunday is fine. Not any given season. That's not the movie. It's any given Sunday.
Okay.
It's one time, one
He's
moment,
not-
a game of inches, not a season of inches.
So Dennis Quaid.
You gotta
is the
claw
only-
for that inch.
With their
You gotta
finger
fight
out.
for that
So
inch.
you're calling Eli Manning Dennis Quaid in any given Sunday.
You call him Cap? He's not Cap.
He's not Cap. He's got another year. He's about a year or two from being Cap.
Favre was
Two
Cap.
more years? We got 2 more years in
Favre's
this? We got 2 more years of Eli Manning.
We got 1 more year, Eli Manning.
Okay.
Okay.
That I can live with.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't
That's
love
all I'm
it.
saying.
Just
I
like
don't
Patrick
love
Mahomes
it,
sat
but
behind Alex Smith for that 1 full year. He played his rookie at the end of his rookie year and was like, "Oh shit, here he come." It's gonna be the same thing with Daniel.
Daniel.
It don't sound right. It don't sound right. It's the same with D Jones.
okay.
Wow.
You just leveled him up.
You know what I mean?
All right. So
all I gotta say is, in Daniel Jones' defense, in comparison, like with Baker, is like when Baker was in college, when he came out, there have been 20 guys drafted from Oklahoma from Baker's time. Well, Daniel Jones, he's the only guy that got drafted.
Right.
Meaning, who was he throwing to? Who was he playing with?
Fair.
At the end of the day, like, if you can play, you can play.
Yeah. It's like Patrick
That's my
Mahomes.
defense in terms of people saying, like, oh, we're shocked they took him. They did their homework.
well, I think okay. So right. Yes.
The Jets do their homework and
felt-
they.
All I know is
I'm saying
whatever
neither
his name
one of
is.
you watch tape.
No, we don't.
Who
but
don't?
we do study
You-
what people who watch tape say about.
Plagiarism at its
About-
Oh, you
finest.
talking about college football tape? No,
Yeah, about.
Yeah,
Wait,
I
no,
watch
no,
college
we
football.
watch
I watch
college
college
games.
football
I don't
tape.
watch tape.
I watch tape.
Okay, so that's fine. You're high on Daniel Jones.
You watch Daniel Jones tape?
You and the Giants.
Yes.
Anyway,
Where are we?
so Antonio Brown has finally got a helmet that is certified. Okay, so how well is he going to do this year? Because it's been a rocky start.
Maybe like 1,200, 15 TDs, usual year. What's up?
I can't dispute that. Honestly, I can't dispute it. I think how the rest of his team reacts to this, how his actor playing a head coach will react to this is one thing, but AB gonna eat.
I mean, I hope he does, but I don't have a lot of confidence right now based off of the way that this.
They're just messing with us. Mayock's been on TV. Gruden's been on TV. AB's been on Dancing with the Stars. They're messing with us.
We're all just pawns in their game.
Yeah, we're all just pawns in the game.
I mean, but are they going to win games, or is Antonio Brown just going to have
They
a
don't
good
know nothing
season?
about that yet. They don't know nothing about that.
But they're building for that. They're working on that. That's why they changed what they're doing in the building. But they're just messing with us.
10 years Gruden has a contract for. Like, this is asinine. This is going to be the most watched terrible football team for the next 10 years.
Oh, slow down.
What are they
10 years? You're going to say the most terrible team for 10
I'm
years?
saying,
Who is going to
running
be
the
bad
ship.
this year? You pushed back on a lot of our
Yeah,
critiques
give us top
today.
5, top worst teams. Who's drafting first in the draft next year? Top 5.
I would say that the Dolphins are going to draft Tua. Number 1 overall.
We just went. He checked tape 2. Okay, what else?
Well, y'all said I pushed back. I'm just going to give you everything right now.
That's good. Give me that list right now.
Awful.
Tua, Dolphins gonna lose all the games and draft Tua.
I might quit the business if that happens.
Tank for Tua. Tank for Tua.
No.
Dolphins going to be interesting.
Okay.
Arizona will be interesting.
So what kind of year do you think that Kyler is going to have?
Interesting.
Okay.
So we've learned what will.
It's more Kingsbury.
Interesting
It's
equals
more
not good.
It's more Kingsbury than Kyler.
Okay.
Amen. I love that take.
That's how I feel. So
Do you
I'm
think he's in over his head right now?
over his head.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna find out a lot, especially that whole discussion with the clap. Like for the snap, I'm like, all right, wait till you go to CenturyLink in Seattle. You ain't gonna hear a damn thing. Mm-hmm. Ain't gonna be no clap.
I guarantee you, you're talking about first head coach. You've questioned Freddie Kitchen being a first head coach. I guarantee you, I trust that tandem first year head coach than this tandem over here.
What
Obviously,
tandem?
Baker and Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, Baker and Freddie Kitchen.
Dude, Baker doesn't even need a head coach. Anyone coach him.
That's all right. Let's roll
Except
that
for
out.
Hugh.
That's good.
Huh?
Let's cut
No, but he
the top of
didn't.
this.
He didn't have to coach him. He still won the game.
He just came in
Yeah.
and won the game on a Thursday night.
Like how much? Like he, I don't know much about Freddie, but Baker is good in his own right. Like he can.
Baker chose Freddie. That's all I got to say. That's my thing.
Yeah,
and even when Jimmy G's
They
struggling
let
the
their
way he
stars
did.
in
Dorsey
Cleveland
chose
pick the head
Freddie.
coaches.
Yeah.
Dorsey chose Freddie. I'm Baker. All right.
Okay.
Where's
play
the
that
lie?
game. We'll play that game.
Where's the lie?
Dorsey from the Ron Wolf tree.
Oh, I want to switch to Jimmy G. Okay, because Jimmy G.
Ron Wolf
was
from
terrible.
the Al Davis tree.
Okay, keep doing that while I'm doing this. You used to keep saying the trick.
John Snyder.
Okay. So, and Jimmy G, and the reason why, although he's
Reggie
only played
McKenzie.
11 snaps, I think that's a good enough sample size because Tom Brady was afraid to do. So I'm respecting who Tom Brady respects man to man. So I'm still scared of Jimmy G. He can have as many bad preseason games as he wants.
Why are you scared of Jimmy G? He's 8-2.
That seems like a reason to be scared of him. Is it?
8-2.
That's 10 games. I'm with you. Look, I've always been skeptical of Jimmy G, and then I found out that Belichick really wanted to keep him, so I kind of backed off of it because I originally said he was going to be a bust. But then Belichick was hiring him, so I kind of weakened on that stance. I don't
And they got a second round for him, right?
Yes.
That's a good deal.
They're in a great position
Yeah,
because
I agree.
if he is terrible this year or if he gets hurt again, they can cut him and they have a $4.7 million or $4.2 million dollar cap hit next year. So that astronomical contract is this is the last year of that, which I'm sure they're happy to pay to have a franchise quarterback.
For sure.
I don't think anyone should overreact to a bad
Not at all.
preseason game. But
Lions went 4-0
Ooh, we talked about it.
and went 0-16.
Yeah, they won a lot of. They do really well in the preseason. Lions
Didn't
do.
they? Super Bowl
No,
and
they
everything.
usually do. They usually do. They're usually 4-0 in the preseason.
so you don't have high expectations of Jimmy G.
I think he is the right fit for them. I do have high expectations for him. And I just think right now everyone's jumping the gun in terms of like, oh, he completed one pass last night. Oh, da. I think his issue right now is that he's getting back. I injured my knee before. I had 3 surgeries on my knee, and it took forever for me just to get comfortable. And last night, the Dolphins were bringing heat immediately. What if that was a strategy? Coaches talk pregame. What if the Niners?
Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
You said Dolphins.
Dolphins? Did I say Dolphins?
And I was thinking, what's
I'm
the
sorry.
Was it Dolphins? Was it Dolphins?
Teams
No.
talk pregame, and what if the Broncos and the Niners were talking like, "Hey, don't kill my core, bring some pressure. Like I want him to get comfortable."
Yeah.
They talk all the time. Preseason games are all strategy. There's never a situation where the guys like we're going to try to outsmart them. It's like no, we keep it basic. We want to see certain guys do certain things. So I'm pretty sure that there's a chance that was a conversation to help him out.
Yeah, and the
That's
Cardinals aren't
interesting.
even using offensive plays that they're going to have during the season, like Kyler
49ers.
Murray. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm saying that they're talking about preseason. That's an ongoing storyline with the
He
Cardinals.
threw them in there.
okay.
Yeah.
The fact that
Yeah.
they're not even using anything they're going to have during the season during the
Yeah,
preseason.
I mean, you're not throwing anything crazy out there, and a lot of teams are doing joint practices and stuff.
Right.
Like, nobody should overreact to preseason. It's just all we have.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. But would you say, like, coming back from, I tore my ACL once, not as a professional athlete, but
Doing what?
playing soccer.
Soccer league, though.
You're
it's a
still
league.
playing a sport.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, thank you.
Well, give yourself
was-
credit. Yeah, give yourself credit.
It was
It's not.
competitive.
Yeah.
It was a women's league.
At least you
in
weren't like
Miami.
going out on Sunset and you like tripped off the curb. Like that
No,
would've
it was a
been
legitimate sports
that's-
injury.
yeah.
Injury.
Good point.
But I didn't play sports for a living, so coming back from it was awful. And I'm 5'2", so I couldn't wear heels for an entire year, which sucked. But which is why I don't play soccer anymore.
So it's like the raw
But it's
piece.
mental. A lot of it is mental.
It's all mental.
So is that going to be the hardest part for him?
That is the hardest
Like,
part, to trust it.
Yeah.
Because due to the fact that it was non-contact. Mine was
Yeah.
non-contact, and I'm like, damn, I made this jump cut ever since I was a kid, and I made that jump cut, and my knee was gone. So it took.
Did it change your game after that, coming back from it, or did you ever learn to trust it again?
It changed my game for a little bit. I would, purposely line up on the right side so that if there was any in-breaking routes, I would plan off my right side.
Okay.
But then eventually, I just kept training it, and I gained confidence back in it.
Well, we appreciate you coming on with us today. Is there
I'm
any-
gone already?
I mean,
Well,
we
Y'all
can-
were over
we
here-
can-
y'all
I
were
feel
over
like
here-
a half an
I
hour.
mean,
Yeah,
we can
36
keep
minutes.
talking, man.
Y'all were over here like, man.
I mean,
Well, we can have you on again.
I mean,
Is there any one? So first of all, where can people find you? NFL Wine Guy.
At Will Blackmon is me. You can
Right.
find that on Twitter and Instagram, and then at NFL Wine Guy.
And NFLWineGuy.com.
Yes, NFL Wine and,
Is there a-
and subscribe. We're gonna have. Do you like subscription services? Do you like that at all? No.
I do, yes.
why
So
you ask
basically, it is going to be a situation where I'll introduce my favorite 2 wines that month. And,
Oh, that's
and
fun.
We, and
I
we
was just
send
about to
them-
ask you,
and
what do
we
you,
send
what do
them
you
to
recommend right now?
that? Yeah, and the summer's ending, getting into fall. What's the palate?
Why'd you say it like that? Why?
Because you said Simeon Ye today. So I didn't
Wait.
Simeon Ye.
Whatever you said.
You want Semillon? You can have that. Yeah, that is a wine.
That's really cool, actually.
That is a wine, Semillon.
Put it for them.
Okay, so subscribe. Well, I mean, we have the ability to edit, so
I know, but
we
this
can
is
put it
look
up
at this.
so
Look
it's
how
not.
natural this is.
Okay, so subscribe to NFLWineGuy.com.
Just
and
follow,
we'll check you out.
yeah,
and
subscribe,
follow NFL Wine
me,
Guy.
I do have
Yeah,
one question. You're a very interesting person.
Wow, thank
Kind
you.
of likes you, which I mean we love you. What's your most controversial take on life? Like, I don't believe in dinosaurs per se. I don't also believe in sharks per se. This longer conversation. So, like, do you have any like takes you want to leave us with? This would just be for social.
I don't know. Would you have any takes?
Oh, I have lots of takes, but not. I mean, I believe in dinosaurs, obviously, and sharks.
Okay, but don't. What's your takes?
I have some questions about the moon landing. Not entirely sure about that.
Ghosts,
Definitely,
we believe
definitely
in.
believe in aliens. I mean, who
Aliens,
doesn't believe in
ghosts.
ghosts?
Right. Well, some people. Maybe the wine guy.
Well, Heller's an atheist, so
Yeah.
nothing is real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hide my crucifix.
Wow.
He's not a completely judgmental atheist. He's tolerant atheist.
There's more y'all than there are of me, so I'm
Yeah.
No,
more
I'm
worried about me.
I'm just interested in a lot of stuff. I don't have any takes where it's like that.
Why you say like that? Like that?
Because you were just like flat out.
You asked
Ain't
for
no
examples.
ain't no dinosaurs.
I did. Okay. It's okay.
Because
Sorry.
what you said is ludicrous.
Excuse that. Sorry to ask. Thank you for coming.
But thank you for joining us. We will have you on again soon. Tell your wife I said hello.
Yes.
Yes.
And make sure you go subscribe at NFLWineGuy.com.
Where's Boston College ranked in preseason this year?
There's my hot take. I don't give a damn.
That's fair. I don't either. So I tried to do that like I care, but I
Drives me
don't.
crazy.
Because you don't have a team. You flip flop.
I don't have a team. How do I not have a team? How do I
You
not
will
have
wear a
team?
Ball State. So okay, it's Notre Dame Day today. That's a nice hat. Though. I do like that color. Did Kimmy Borza send us that?
No.
Oh.
I had a guy.
No, I'm still thinking about this take.
He's like, oh, y'all better keep rolling too.
All right, well, we can run down a few things. Milk. Are you a?
I think I always question. This is gonna be strong. Joe Namath in the Hall of Fame. That's interesting.
Wow.
That's
That
interesting.
I'd have to look at some
Now
numbers.
I get the history because of the merger and that he was like the guy who won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
First person to get in strictly off swag.
He is swagger champion.
I like
Go to
that.
them stats.
I like that. Let's we go pull up the stats. Let me see. I got a football reference.
I bet you Gus
Just
Farrat's
say
got better
stat.
numbers.
Whoa, easy on Gus. See, I didn't. You going?
What? I was saying he got better numbers.
You
You
insulting.
know, Baker is kind of a modern day
Look at these
Joe.
stats.
170.
173 touchdowns, 220 interceptions, 50% completion rate. Career, yes. 27,600.
I mean, one was on the dirt, and the next pass was in somebody's hand. The next pass was in the dirt.
Yeah.
He got in. We're putting you in because you saved us.
140 games. 140 games feels not a lot for nowadays, too. Is that?
I think I played 140 games.
Are you in the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely not. Well, Rhode Island Hall of Fame. Yeah,
Okay, but
October 30th.
Hey,
It's going
be
down.
there.
Congrats.
Pull up.
Yes.
Okay, picturesque
All right.
up there.
Come
All right.
get some lobster and Italian food. I got
Man.
your main lobster. Don't eat that warm water Australian stuff. Don't do that, man.
Get that out
We
of
don't do
here.
that. You need that
You know what
cold
I'm
water
saying?
lobster. That's what it
Do
is.
you like Me, Myself, and Irene? That was a great movie. Set in Rhode
Yeah,
Island.
the house where the kids were in the pool.
Yeah.
That's one of our friends' houses.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
That is a good movie. Strong.
Farley Brothers, man. Kill 'em.
Tom Leska. What up, Tom?